couple of years ago now, Apple released the Apple Watch Ultra. Although I did take a look at this watch, the one thing that impressed me the most was not actually the watch itself, but the really cool strap that came on it. This was a hook and loop strap, reminded me a lot of rock climbing or maybe Sylvester Stallone in Cliffhanger. But recently when I was looking at the Apple Watch again, I was wondering whether I could get a similar look to that strap on a G-Shock. So in this video, we are going to do a tutorial of how to get a very similar hook and loop strap onto a metal G-Shock Square, including how to fit the end links and where to buy the strap from. And I'll put some costs in the description down below, because surprisingly it wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be. Bar that holds the existing bracelet on is very tight. The screw bolt with a screw in from either side, so you do need to torque it basically from both sides. There is a chance that you might damage your watch, so please do this at your own risk. Let's flip the camera around and then let me know at the end what you think of the look in the comment section down below. Well, first of all, we're going to need our metal square, and here is my metal square. It's held up pretty well, a few little scratches on it. I've never liked the way that the strap overhangs here, so I'm hoping that this new strap will take out some of that overhang as well. It should do. What you're going to need to do first is we're going to need to remove this metal bracelet, and I'm not going to lie, this is going to be a bit of a pain in the rear end to do. We'll work through it together. You're going to need a strap removal tool, because we're going to need to take the bracelet off at the clasp, pop that out like that, make sure you save the spring bar. With the bracelet laid flat, we can see how this metal square, how the bracelet attaches. It's by these 2 points here, and there's no articulation. That's why this does sort of protrude out the way it does. And in order to get this off, we are going to have to unscrew these 2 bolts. The kit comes with these 2 screwdrivers, which I'm sure are going to break within a few minutes of us attempting this, but let's give it a go. Remove this bolt first, and then there's a separate collar inside, so you just want to push this other screw out, and then the collar. Make sure you keep this to one side. So I've got to admit that looked a little bit easier because I have had this bracelet off before, but make sure you remove both the screw and then the inner collar. And interestingly, that whole mechanism holds the bezel on as well. So if you want to see what the watch looks like without its metal bezel, there we go. And then there's that extra bumper that they talk about. So let's put that back on there, and let's get the new strap secured onto the watch. So I've got 2 different types here. I've got this olive green with the black end pieces, and then I got another one which was black with the silver end pieces. I might try and put this silver one on first. You've got to make sure you get this on the right way. The top piece where the strap loops, that is the top of the watch. These pieces at the end are metal, and as we can see, there is quick release spring bars on there. Make sure you put this collar in first. That's it just secured with the collars, and we can already see that it does have a little bit of overhang there, but there's that familiar Apple Watch Ultra clasp. I think this is going to look quite good. Let's try the black one on first. Let's try the one with the black end pieces on before I fasten this all up. So I fitted the black end link on one side and then the silver end link on the other. This is going to be hard to tell because of how reflective this watch is, but I think the silver looks better. We can actually swap the strap out afterwards, because all this does is adds the ability to have a spring bar attachment onto this watch. So I'm going to swap it back to the silver, and then maybe, I do like that green, maybe I can swap the green over to this watch as well. Added the screws back on, tightened it all up. Let's get it on wrist. This is an extremely comfortable mechanism of closing a strap, because you've got all of these different loops similar to the Apple Watch Ultra, and then you just very easily fasten it to wherever your wrist is. So you've got an amazing level of adjustment on these bracelets. Looks really cool, and it takes that massive overhang off. I mean, there still is a little bit of an overhang, to be fair, but it takes off that visual overhang that this watch suffers from. because of that such a thick metal end piece on here. Here it is with the green variant on there. I think I actually might prefer it with the green. Lightens the whole look of it up. I'll leave a link to everything in the description down below. I'm not affiliated with the AliExpress site. Just saw this and thought it was cool and just did a quick tutorial on it. I think actually makes this watch a little bit more wearable. Takes off a lot of the weight out of it as well. But yeah, comfortable strap, very cheap to make this mod. It does come from AliExpress, so it does take a couple of weeks to come through, but a quick, easy mod to do to your metal G-Shock Square.